Hi, this is Les-Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. Finally, Browns training camp is underway, and to the best of my knowledge, nobody got hurt today. The fans are fired up, as they should be. The team was fired up, as well they should be too. And you know what? I'm fired up too, as well as I should be. Having seen the 1964 title win over the Baltimore Colts, Red Right 88, and The Drive all at Municipal Stadium. But let's not get too crazy yet. After all, we've got 3 weeks of camp in Berea, 4 stupid exhibition games, 16 regular season games, a bye week, followed by a 3 or 4 playoff games sked, another bye week, and then the Super Bowl. That's about 31 weeks. Too much time to stay at that fired up level. There's going to be some ups and downs and a combination of the two. Let's just enjoy the good and the bad and hope that there's more good than bad. The D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff, is here. More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Thursday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into our soon to be 30, but 23rd consecutive year, soon to be 24. The D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff, is with us. Hello, D-Man.
How you doing, Les? Well, that's question number one. Question number two,
right.
Do you think Odell's going to make the team?
Wow. Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay, good. That's good.
Did I hear Freddie-Kitchens call him Odell today? That's not possible, is it? Maybe I have horrible hearing, so maybe that was it.
Mine's going as well, so I don't know. But
well, it's Odell anyway.
Sure did miss those organized team activities, didn't he? I mean,
well,
all
no,
you see from this guy today is circus grabs, unbelievable routes, wide open on every point. It's like, yeah, he really needed those optional team activities.
That says more about the Browns defense than it does about Odell.
You know what? I got to believe that Denzel Ward is going to be better for having to try to handle Beckham.
Absolutely. He'll play on Sunday after the game. They'll ask him, how did it go? And he said, that was easy. It's a good point.
I mean, listen, I know what Bud said. I was brought up to speed, you know, Bud's opening comment about the GQ stuff and all that. You see that talent, and you're like, I can live with it,
okay,
Les. I can live with it.
Then explain it to me. How come he has so far come off as one of the all-time greats, but obviously something nasty happened in New York? What was it? All right, so they talked about trading him. Listen, in the NBA, NFL, the MLB, they all get traded or talked about traded, so that shouldn't be it.
Here's how it's going to go, Les. Periodically throughout training camp and even throughout the season, Odell-Beckham-Jr. will say something about the Giants. It's just the way it's going to be.
Somebody should tell him nobody around here cares about the Giants.
But here's his point. I don't do it unsolicited. I don't do it of my own volition. Yeah. I answer questions.
Right.
And you know, all he has to do is decline, but he doesn't want to do that.
All he has to do is say, you know what, I'm in Cleveland now, looking forward to having a great year.
True, but if grinding on the Giants makes him an even better player with the Browns, then I'm all right with it. Go ahead and keep using the Giants' experience as fuel. Even if it sounds odd, even if you say to him, you know, you think to him, why don't you just put it to bed? If that's what he uses to produce the kind of stuff we saw today,
right,
in practice, let alone games.
All right, so here.
I'm all right with it.
Let me throw a little bit of what's happened to me over the years.
There he is.
Had Odell over my shoulder. Oh. All right, so I had a couple of great years at WHK Radio.
Yes, sir.
They get sold, the station goes under, or the station changes format. Nobody would hear me complaining about it. My next thing is go on to the next place and do the best job I can do. I can only relate to what's happened to me in my life.
Yeah, most of us operate that way. And, you know, even, look, the plain dealer at cleveland.com. Awesome experience. I have nothing negative to say about either one of those places. But I don't talk about it all the time anyway. Even if I was just positive, which I am, I'm not going to sit there and talk about the experience all the time because it's in the past.
Well, not only that, and as I mentioned before, that in pro sports that happens, in radio, TV, and the newspaper that happens, and that's the lot we chose, and that's what we get. Some more often than others, and some tougher than others. But the reality is that it's a hazard of the business.
Well, I say it's in the past, except for freelance. Get me for freelance. You got it, guys? But no, again, if you don't know what you're getting with Odell, the megawatt personality, the lightning rod,
right.
If you don't know that going in, then shame on you.
Yeah, that's a great point. All right, we're going to talk about something that's happening right now. Do you remember what I said a couple of weeks ago about your Cleveland Indians?
They're going to run away. They're going to win the division going away. You said something in the neighborhood of 4 to 5 games.
Yeah.
You certainly look like Nostradamus right now, or Nostradamus. Unbelievable. It's down to 2 as of this afternoon. You credit the Indians all over the place. Tito Francona leading the way. And it's been fun to watch, no question.
All right, the Indians have had the second best record in the month of July. I don't know why his teams don't start off well, at least with the Indians they don't, but here's what's happened. The second best in baseball, the best in the American League, because San Francisco, they were going to blow up that team. Look what they're doing, 16-4 in the month of July, 800% percentage. Cleveland 14-4, and then it goes to Washington and Houston as well as St. Louis. In the meantime, Minnesota, a couple of games under the 500 mark in the month of July.
Yeah, Les, I mean, we've talked about this on the show. June 3rd, really, to me, was the fulcrum. I mean, you're at 29-30, 11 and a half back, 12 in the loss column. This season is teetering. It's ready to go either down the toilet or you're going to somehow, some way rebound. They were mathematically in the wild card. I declared them dead in the division. I'm not afraid to admit it. You didn't. I did. And so I am wrong about that. I did not think they would ever get to within 4 games, let alone 2 games.
Doesn't it seem like eons ago that Hanley-Ramirez was on this team and Carlos Gonzalez on this team?
Yeah, at one point, right. I mean, and I don't know if they were all there here at the same time, but you had Hanley came in, you had Cargo, and then also Cameron Maben was in for a while as a minor leaguer. They signed him as a veteran.
He didn't play with the big club.
No, he never got to the big club, but he went on to the Yankees, and he got hurt. He was playing pretty well, I think, for the Yankees.
Yep.
But they had all kinds of, think of Stamets and guys like that. Who the offense looked to be just a jumbled mess, really. You had Lindor injured at the outset of the season.
Getting Mercado into the lineup is what the turning point is, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, he's absolutely huge, Les, but also the reemergence of Jose-Ramirez, the Jose-Ramirez we grew to know and love as of, the end of July last year, or up to the end of July last year. You have had Kipnis producing. Santana giving you his usual Santana stuff. Lindor back to full health and playing to Lindor capacity. But you're right, Mercado, you think about Roberto Perez surprising everybody with his pop, except him maybe.
Even Plawecki's doing a little help. Plawecki's helping a little bit coming off as the backup catcher. All right, so the Indians have action as they move back to Kansas City for the 400th game this season against the Royals. You got 4 at the Royals, then homestand. You've got 9 games at home. Astros 3, Angels 3, and the Rangers come in for 3, and then the Indians come. Then they go to the Twins. I'll tell you what, at that point, that division may be settled at that point. Here's what the Minnesota Twins have in the next 5 series. They're at the White Sox today, at the Marlins tomorrow. Then it's, after 3 games, then the Royals and Braves at home. And the Indians, of course, at home also.
I mean, the Twins are looking at that saying we can get on a run. The White Sox just were beaten, I think, 2 games in a row by the lowly Marlins. So the Twins feel good about their schedule coming up. Admittedly, the Braves and Indians in that graphic are the last two of that group, but Cleveland has got, they got some difficult games. This Kansas City series, if you're serious about catching the Twins, it's imperative to me you take 3 of 4 somehow, some way. You can't settle for a split against that bad of a team.
And just because they swept Detroit in 4 games doesn't mean you can do it again, even though Kansas City is pretty bad.
It's extremely difficult to sweep a 4-game series, especially on the road. But you look at that 9-game block, Les. Houston for 3, Angels for 3, Rangers for 3. That's not an easy 9-game block.
No, I think even though it's all at home.
If you get 3 out of 4 against Kansas City, you can survive 5 and 4 in the next 9. You don't have to go 6 and 3 as long as you take 3 out of 4 from KC. But it's not going to be easy to win, let's say, a minimum of 6 games in that 9-game stretch against those 3 teams.
All right, along those lines, we asked our Facebook people a question of the day. Who's going to be the 2019 AL Central champs? I'm on record as saying your Cleveland Indians. D-Man, you ready to jump on? You don't have to hold on to what you said a couple of weeks ago. You want to stick with Minnesota? You got it.
I'll go with the Indians right now because they've got it to a manageable spot that I never thought I'd see.
All right, you can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day.
Meeser says Indians.
All right, let's check out what the I see what you want to do. Let's see what our responses were. Who's going to be the 2019 AL Central champs? Andy Mees says our Tribe will end up winning it. Minnesota starting pitchers not named Barrios are coming down to earth and regressing to their career norms. The momentum is on the Tribe's side, and Chernoff and Antonetti always seem to be finding that missing piece at the trade deadline. Rick May, Cleveland, with the assumption that they will win the majority of the remaining games against the Twins. Starting pitching looks strong. Kluber will be back soon, hopefully. Tim Gebhardt says the Tribe, better pitching. Angelo Costanzo, Cleveland Indians, book it. Gregory Mees, how can you bet against Terry Francona? And Eric Eglin says, well, I know it's not Detroit.
Listen, Kluber's news is very positive. You saw him pitch off the bullpen in Toronto.
Right.
I don't see why you can't think optimistically about Kluber and maybe say September 1st.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show. That, of course, would be real-leslevine@gmail.com. You also have the voicemail of Truth and Reason, where you can make a phone call and leave a message to us. A special phone number there. Not during the show. This is to leave us a message. 216-200-6650. And, of course, you can call anytime and leave a message. We'll use some of the best messages on future shows if you don't make them too long, however. 216-575-0403. D-Man, next segment, we've got something I think you're going to enjoy. I enjoyed it as we previewed it, and that is we're going to revisit some past trades at the trade deadline made by the Cleveland Indians in the last decade, or maybe a little bit more than that.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery, partners in education, where stars shine.
Birthdays for today, the 25th of July. Nate Thurman, whose number is retired by both the Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors, born in 1941 in Akron. Adam Zappel, 1947. Wow. Walter Payton, Doug Drabeck, Javier Vasquez, and Alvin Kamara, all born on the 25th of July. 216-575-0403 is the number. Let's take a look at this date in sports history. July 25th, 1978. Pete Rose gets a hit in his 38th straight game, a National League record, still 18 behind the American League's Joe DiMaggio. How about DiMaggio? He gets the 56-game hitting streak, gets stopped here in Cleveland, then goes out and hits 18 games in a row.
Was it 18?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's remarkable what he was able to do.
Yeah. By the way, if anybody from the Browns office is listening, I just want to thank them. I had objected to something that I heard yesterday, pointed it out to them, and they apologized for it and made it right. So I appreciate what they did on that. 216-575-0403. We've been talking about the trade deadline. This year, there's only one of them, right? In the past, they had
exactly.
been able to do it twice.
Big difference from last year.
So the end of the month, the 31st is when it all comes down. And I thought in the last week, it's about starting now, I thought there's going to be a flurry of activities, and I still expect a flurry of activities. Let's take a look and see what the Indians have done with the trading deadline starting almost 2 decades ago. Look at that, D-Man. You've got one of the great trades in Cleveland Indians history when you think about it. Could have been better if they knew what to do with Brandon Phillips. But June 27, 2002, Expos trade Cliff Lee, Grady Sizemore, Brandon Phillips, and Lee Stevens, left-handed hitting first baseman, to the Indians for Bartolo Colon and Tim Drew. Then on the 30th of June 2006, the Mariners trade Asdrubal Cabrera. The Indians, of course, needed somebody to fill in once Omar wasn't here. That trade for Eduardo Perez of the MLB Network. July 26, 2006, Mariners trade Sin-Soo Choo and Sean Nottingham. I don't remember hearing the name Sean Nottingham, to the Indians for first baseman Ben Broussard. It continues on, and this going in 2008. The Brewers trade Matt Laporta, Zach Jackson, and Rob Bryson, and Michael-Brantley, I don't know whatever happened to him, for CC Sabathia. Sabathia helps Milwaukee go to the postseason.
And we didn't know it was Brantley at the time.
We didn't. We had a choice of 3 guys, right?
Yes.
July 26, 2008, Dodgers trade Carlos Santana and John Malone to the Indians for Casey Blake. I say just trading Casey Blake away from us is a good enough trade.
Wow.
Right? July 29, 2009, Phillies trade Carlos Carrasco, Jason Donald, Lou Marson, and Jason Knapp to the Indians for Cliff Lee and Ben Francisco. D-Man, correct me if I'm wrong. Lou Marson, or I'm sorry, go back, Brian, go back one space, one page there if you can do that. The trade there with Jason Donald, was he or was he not the player that should have been the 27th out in the perfect game at Detroit?
100%. Armando Galarraga, he gets the ground ball to the right side. Galarraga covers. Donald is clearly out, and Jim Joyce kicks the call.
All right, let's continue on then. The next page shows us in 2010, Padres trade this guy named Corey-Kluber to the Indians. They get Ryan Ludwig, power-hitting outfielder, to the Padres. The Indians send Jake Westbrook and Nick Greenwood to the Cardinals.
Look at that theft on August 7, 2014.
Well, Vinny Pastano had a nice career here out of the bullpen, but he was losing it at that point.
Yes.
And Mike-Clevinger comes here and always said, well, what do we need a guy with that much hair? And he showed that he can pitch, so that's a good look back. All right, so what do you expect? The Indians 2 games out right now. Yeah. Who knows what they'll be in a week? What do you think?
Well, I agree with you. A flurry of activity is coming or league-wide, because there's so many teams that are technically in it.
Right. Or the wild card.
Look at the National League. It's a pig pile. Beyond a couple of the division races. The NL Central, for example, is wide open. Even the Reds have to wonder, have to pause for a second, and they're in last place.
All you got to do is get hot for about 10 days.
Yeah, and the fans of those respective teams are like, hey, why doesn't our front office purchase? So I think you're going to have a lot of buyers. You're not going to have that many sellers. The sellers market is going to be limited because some of the buyers are going to want to maybe move a guy that a seller is not going to want.
Right.
You know what I mean? I.e. Bauer. So I think what the Indians are going to do is judiciously buy. They will pick up a position player who has a resume, preferably an outfielder, but perhaps a DH guy, and you can bounce somebody around, or maybe a first baseman or whatever, but hopefully an outfielder. But the most important thing is he would be an upgrade somewhere over what you have. And I think the criteria for this guy, not only being an upgrade over what you have, is the prorated portion of his salary, the remaining 2 months of his salary, will not be devastating to your budget.
Right.
Because it's going to be a rental. They're not picking up a guy who's going to be under their control for the next 4 years, I don't think. I don't think that kind of guy will be available.
A week from now, or whenever that deadline hits, will Trevor Bauer be a member of the Cleveland Indians or somebody else?
He will be a member of the Indians because even though the Indians have, I believe, offered him to whoever wants him, I think two things will be a stumbling block. Number one, you have a finite number of suitors. The non-contenders are not going to trade for him.
Right.
So now you've limited the contenders. Oh, by the way, those contenders need to have deep pockets in order to afford make the Bauer acquisition worthwhile. The contenders with deep pockets are not going to want to give you what you want in return for Trevor Bauer.
Correct.
Let's take, for example, the Los Angeles Dodgers. If you're the Indians, you start the conversation with, Clay Bellinger. And guess what?
And Jack Peterson would be nice.
But Bellinger is my starting point.
Right.
The Dodgers say, well, of course not. We're not going to give up an MVP. Okay. Well, then Jack Peterson, Verdugo, you start just ticking off names, and you say, I want 4 or 5 of them in return. The Dodgers say, no thanks, and the Indians say no thanks.
Right.
I think that's ultimately what's going to occur. The Indians will not get a proposed return that they believe is worth Trevor Bauer, and therefore they will say, you know what? We're fine with riding the season out with him.
Unless they say, here's those 5 guys you wanted. All right, here's something a little different. I normally would say don't even consider trading somebody that might be a PR disaster. Well, what might be a PR disaster with the Indians is if they traded Bauer, that's one thing. People would understand. They wouldn't like it, but they'd understand. But they wouldn't understand if it goes to the Yankees or to the Houston Astros and facing the fact that you might have to go up and face them in the postseason.
It's already painful enough that Brantley signed with the Astros, and you most likely will have to go through Houston to get where you want to go, among other teams. So, I don't see them trading to a contender in the American League. I think they would love to do a deal in the National League. That's why over the in the offseason, what did we hear constantly when it was Bauer-Kluber? We didn't hear many Bauer specific trade proposals, but when the Kluber trade proposals were out there, they were almost always National League.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's what the Indians want to do.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. As you know, training camp open for the Cleveland Browns. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. Catch the excitement of live harness racing every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Post time 6 p.m. Open early every day for simulcast action all over the world. Free admission, free parking every day. Summit County Fair coming up Friday. That's tomorrow. Live racing, post time 6 p.m. with the Bud Light Patio Party, all at Northfield Park. When we come back, we'll hear from Freddie-Kitchens and much more from Berea. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement.
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
And we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of July and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
I thought the defense was just like the offense. They were hit and miss. We gave up. We jumped off sides a few times. We're not going to allow that to happen. But it was the first day. So.
Did you go longer than expected?
Not my expectations, no. We're going to go until we get it right. So however long that is. All right.
When you stopped them and
that's the beauty between fall camp and those league mandated things in the spring. You know, we can go until we get it right.
How'd that 13-year-old look after
Who's that?
Odell.
Oh, yeah, he looked good at times, but he's got a long way to go too. I mean, this is the first day for everybody, but it was exciting to have him out there. And what we're getting right now is just a foundation, laying the foundation for everything we're going to do. And that group of receivers is the same way.
Freddie, how about though when you see him make a couple sideline catches in that first 11-on-11 session, just right out of the gate? How tough is it just to not feel that excitement that you see from plays like that? I mean, you obviously have to keep that even keel as the head coach, but how hard is that not to feel that excitement when you see plays like that?
Oh no, I don't stay even keeled. I get excited when I see plays like that, but I get excited from everybody when I see plays and them doing what they're supposed to do. But it's a bunch of little things right now. It's just continuing to grow, and this is just a starting point, and everybody understands that and knows that.
He said he really felt the love from the fans. What did you think about the atmosphere out there?
I felt like he should feel the love from the fans because they showed it to him. But the thing that separates Cleveland from a lot of places is the passion that they bring to it, to the game, to the practice. On social media and all that kind of stuff. The passion in the Cleveland area for the Browns or in all Browns fans is very unique. And I think that was demonstrated today, and it'll probably be demonstrated the rest of training camp. And hopefully we carry that momentum over into the real season.
Hey, Freddie, it looked like toward the end of practice you huddled the guys and talked to them for what seemed like a long time. What was your message?
That's between us. You talking about during practice?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's between us.
Is that like something you plan to do every day?
No,
or was it
just when it's necessary. Yeah.
Were you part of the decision to keep camp open for 15 practices for the fans? I mean, did you want fans to have a lot of opportunities to come out to your camp?
Well, I think, listen, to me, this is my personal opinion. To answer your question, yes. All right. I was asked what practices we wanted to be open. All right. To me, we want as many as possible to be open because that's what our fans deserve. There's a lot of people, it's expensive to go to a football game. Now, I know we're not like a lot of teams, but it's expensive to go to a football game. And there's a lot of fans out there that can't afford to go to a game. So in saying that, they're still a part of this organization and what we're trying to do also. So anytime we can give back to our fans, we'd like to do it.
All right, two things. First of all, he got it maybe as a present, Christmas present or something. He got a new hat.
Yeah.
A dark hat. That's good. Here's the other thing. Do you think he wakes up every morning, pinches himself, and says, "Oh my God, I'm the head coach of the Cleveland Browns"?
No, because he has a high level of confidence and he believes that he, if not was born to do this, was certainly geared to do this a long time ago. But I get your point. I mean, it is a meteoric rise for him in this organization.
And not only that, unlike some of the other new rookie coaches, he's been given a team that's expected to do very, very well. I'm not sure any of the other teams out there are expected to.
Yeah,
some might, but they're not expected to.
He won't be easing into the job. But
no.
The more I think about it, Les, I get that one of the main reasons, if not the number one reason, why he was hired as coach is his offensive mind, and you want his play calling. But the more I think about it, I'd love to see him allow Monken to call the plays, and he be part, of course, of the construction of the game plan.
Right, the planning.
And then on game day, he has the right to refuse any play.
Right.
He
I
has
totally
the right
agree.
to override any play.
I totally agree. The head coaching job in the NFL, let alone for a rookie, there's so many things going on there. Injuries during the game, 2-minute warning, using your timeouts, your challenges, and I just think it's too big a job.
Yeah, and some guys have done it and done it well. I know McVay is that. I believe McVay calls the plays for the Rams. I don't.
Yeah,
it seems like he's calling every single play, but I don't know. A guy of Monken's resume and of Monken's credentials, you would think that Kitchens would be like, you know what? It isn't such a bad idea. They hand over to him. Here's what with Hugh Jackson. Remember, I hate to bring his name up, but I will in this case. I never understood if Jackson's the great offensive mind. Yes, he has Haley calling the plays, but he has override power on every single call.
Sure.
So if he ever got upset with anything that Haley was doing,
change it.
Just change the play.
Yeah.
You're Hugh Jackson, you're head coach, and you're an offensive mind. In the case of Kitchens, if he were to, and no signs that he is, but if he were to give it over to Monken, and there was a 3rd and 3, and in his head, Kitchens is thinking, boy, I really like this play. Monken wants it. So, no, I'm the head coach. We're going to run this. Okay.
That's okay.
I mean, no harm, no foul.
That's okay, but not if he's in control of every play on the docket. I think that's a problem. And I think there's a part of me that says, well, maybe he'll figure it out and give up the coach that play calling duties. But the ego that these guys all have, I'm sure he doesn't want it to make it look like he's considering himself a failure.
That's a point. Although I don't even know if it would be failure as much as that he'd be conceding anything now that he's the head coach of the Browns. But you're so right. Today's NFL head coach is tasked with so much stuff. Yeah. Think about the great Bill Belichick. Greatest of all time. What does he have? Josh McDaniels. Okay?
Yeah.
He's not egotistical enough to say, well, I'm calling my own plays. Even though Belichick's a defensive mind, but he could call his own plays if he had to.
And
but he doesn't.
He's obviously in on the game planning, as you suggested, so he'd be overruling himself, I would think. Although in the case of McDaniels and Belichick, they're like two peas in a pod offensively.
Sure, and I'll bet you, I don't follow the Patriots every day, but I'll bet you that Belichick has overridden McDaniels along the way.
No question, and nobody would ever know it. Coming up soon in the month of September, the Greater Cleveland Sports Hall of Fame will open its doors for the 2018 class. Tickets are available for that. Otis Chapman, one of the all-time great guys, racquetball guy, and John Malloy from hockey, and Tony Miller, of course, basketball and football, and
some guy named Urban Meyer.
Tom Lucci before that in tennis. Then you have Urban Meyer and Rob Moss from golf, and you say, well, how does Urban Meyer qualify for Greater Cleveland Sports Hall of Fame? It's a 5-county area, including Ashtabula, where he, of course, was raised. Tickets available 216-241-1919 or admin at clevelandsportshall.com. Again, that's at Landerhaven, and it's on Wednesday night, September 18th. We'll come back in a moment. Odell Beckham speaks from training camp in Berea. We continue. More Sports and Les-Levine continues with the D-Man, Dennis-manoloff, exclusively on cleveland.com.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
it takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at 440-449-HEAT.
Shift all of your focus on football, cut everything else out. I'm just excited about being back.
Can you hear the excitement with the fans?
You can feel it. You don't even have to hear it. Like I told you before, I'm a real empath, so I could feel the hunger and the want to win from these fans, and that's something we just want to, be able to showcase and give to them.
When you make those catches on the sideline the way you do, from our standpoint, obviously it's difficult to do, but you make it look so routine and easy. How are you able to make the difficult catch look so clean?
I'm blessed. God gifted me with some gifts, and when you have a guy throwing it, if it's put in the right spot, to me, nothing feels like a hard catch. The harder catches are the easiest ones. To be honest with you, a lot of receivers would say the same. We'll make those harder catches, and it's like it wasn't much, but the easy catches you really have to focus on. So, like I said, I'm just happy to be out there and playing football. This is the game that I love.
Do you ever surprise yourself when you make one of those catches with the jumping one today?
No. I expect myself to make all those catches. I actually get upset that I juggled it and have to do all that and not catch it the first time. Because bobbling it, not every time you're gonna come down with it. So just make the catch the first time.
Odell, you said the other day at your camp that one of your priorities is getting to know your new teammates. There's a lot of guys you still don't know.
Yeah.
How much of the team you don't know, would you estimate?
I couldn't give you a number, but I know that what I would usually do is whenever I sit down to eat in the cafe, I just sit with a different group of people. And just sit there, talk, communicate, and you get to know those guys because these are the guys you're going to war with. There's no disrespect to the coaches or anybody else in the organization, but when the snap and the whistle blows, it's just us out there. So you got to get to know who you're battling with, and we're all fighting for the same goal. So I'm excited to be able to learn new faces, and this game has taught me you make lifelong friends. Whether you're on the same team, you go from a team, you go from a different team. These are guys that you battled with, and you'll forever remember and cherish each other.
D-Man, I've been saying this all week.
Wow.
We've heard about Odell Beckham from New York. We've heard him say stuff.
Haven't seen him yet. Haven't
seen that guy yet. And you wonder if that guy will show up. I mean, that guy is saying all the right things. He's doing everything right. And as you mentioned at the beginning, missing the non-OTA practices, no big deal now.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched Twitter, and basically you could put together a highlight reel of Odell's work.
Just from today?
Yeah, one particular pattern. He just made Denzel Ward look like he wasn't even there. He just faked him out so bad that Ward didn't even move. Now, maybe Ward would say, hey, I was in his zone or something like that. I don't know, but it sure looked like it was man, and it sure looked like Ward got schooled. But that just shows how great Beckham is. And, yeah, if he's like this the rest of camp, no harm, no foul. There's nothing going on, and that's fine. But I wouldn't bet on it. I think there's going to be some stuff still with Beckham, and that's fine. You deal with that, and then you just look forward to the season.
After the first regular season game, Denzel Ward is going to say, well, that was easy.
Yeah.
Compared to what I've been doing every day in training camp.
From what we hear, Joe Hayden's drawing the assignment for OBJ in the two Pittsburgh versus Cleveland games. The other thing, Les, I can't help but think, Beckham arrives, which means Landry's your number 2.
Right.
That's great. That's fine. That's where he should be. But even more, Callaway and Higgins are 3 and 4, depending on which guy you like more.
That's before you get to the tight ends.
I mean, yeah, right. And Njoku is almost like a receiver in a tight end's body. So you think about how Higgins and Njoku and Callaway are going to live with defenders, oh, we forgot about those guys. Everybody's going to be so focused on Beckham and Landry, they're going to forget about these guys who can make plays.
Yeah, and if they concentrate on those guys, oh yeah, Nick Chubb.
Yeah. And don't forget about Duke. When he's out there, right. Duke Johnson can still make plays, or will make plays, I think. He's going to be a Brown this year, in my opinion. I don't think they're going to trade him, because if they were to trade him, they'd be giving him away, and they're not going to give him away.
All right, Mike Daniels made a trip to Berea. Pro Bowl, I think, 7-8 years in a row.
I mean,
Green Bay guy.
You certainly have. Speaking of Twitter, there he is. Speaking of Twitter, I have. I saw Demarius Randall. You know, hey, good to hear. You know that Daniels is coming to at least visit his former teammate in Green Bay. You would think the Browns have an advantage there with Randall and Dorsey and Wolf and those guys. But what worries me is, does Daniels want to come in a rotational situation, because you already have Richardson and Ogunjobi, among others. I mean, as the leader, the two leaders of the interior.
Right.
But if he doesn't land in Cleveland, is he going to land in Baltimore? That's what scares me more.
Yeah.
Because Baltimore was a finalist for Gerald McCoy before McCoy, along with Cleveland, before McCoy ultimately decided to sign with Carolina because he wanted to stay in the division with Tampa so he could stick it to Tampa 2 times a year.
What would this say about Dorsey if he loses McCoy? Well, he did lose McCoy, and if he loses Daniels. Does it say anything about his ability to bring in people?
Not necessarily, because I don't put McCoy on Dorsey. I think McCoy going to Carolina clearly showed, and he even might have said it, that he just wanted to stay in the same division as Tampa because he wants payback against Tampa for letting him go.
All right.
So you don't blame Dorsey there. In this case, I don't know. Maybe it would be an unfortunate situation for Dorsey.
All right, John Dorsey, if you're watching tonight and you need a reason to get these, you want these guys to come here and you need a reason, tell them Sokolowski's University Inn.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, why not?
The winners of the James Beard Foundation Award 3 or 4 years ago, only 5 in the country get it each and every year. They're the only restaurant from Cleveland that's ever won it. And it's Cleveland's oldest family-owned and operated business, Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn. 5 minutes out of downtown, take the Abbey Avenue exit, swing under the bridge. It's right there, you can't miss it. Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn. All right, we heard from the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. We heard from Odell Beckham. We'll hear from Baker-Mayfield when we get back. More Sports and Les-levine continues with the D-Man, Dennis-manoloff, exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
I had an epoxy-based sand paint on my floor that deteriorated, and that's why I called Nature Stone.
Why paint? It's expensive, it's ugly, and it doesn't last. Nature Stone is always affordable. It's beautiful, and with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of July and save up to 50%. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
It's kind of a security blanket. You know, the one throw on my left looks like he kind of double jumped and went another jump in the air. Just to, you know, we talked about it in the spring. He's just a special individual that can do things like that.
How much different does the second camp feel than when you were a rookie?
A lot better, say that. You know, everything's not moving as fast. You know, just trying to get settled in a little bit more. You know, handling the little things. You know, getting the team together. You know, because that's what's important. You know, making sure we're on the same page and fine-tuning things. Because we're not going to be perfect, but as long as we communicate and we get on the same page, we'll be able to work on that going forward.
How's married life treating you so far?
It's good to see you, Tony. It's been a long time since I've seen you. It's good so far. Yeah.
What would you like to accomplish in this second training camp for yourself?
Take care of the ball more, get ball out, so, you know, no sacks. Sound like a caveman, get ball out. But no, just, you know, work on the little things, like I said, but get better each day. Find one thing to work on each day and get better at that.
I asked Freddie the other day about what kind of difference it makes working with the one receivers from the start rather than you know, getting to them much later. He said that it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
You know, what's your take on that topic?
I would have to agree. It's just that, you know, being able to get more reps, more experience with them is very important. Just getting the timing down. And then, like I said, it's getting on the same page as well.
Baker, there was one moment where I caught you and Duke just laughing and smiling, saying something to each other. Could you describe the state of relations right now between you and Duke?
You know, we addressed it. You know, Freddie talked about it yesterday. We're good. I mean, if we're out there smiling, we're here to do our job. He's here. And like I said, when it all came out, we want people that want to be here. And he's here right now. So that's important. And I think that shows that, you know, we're here to win.
Did you feel the need to talk to him after minicamp?
No. You know, we're going to handle it like professionals. It is what it is.
When you stepped on the field for the first time today, did you feel any different energy from the fans?
A lot more excitement. You know, there's more people that they're excited to watch play. Just, you know, it's good to have, though, that energy. You know, it'll be vital for them to have that same energy later on in camp when guys aren't as fresh. It's not, you know, you're not running on adrenaline as much. So, no, it's great to see.
Baker-Mayfield.
Vague.
How about that? You don't know who to go to first when you go out to Berea now. Used to be a no-brainer. May not be so.
Yeah, did I or did I not hear him have to address another Duke question? It's like,
well, you know he's going.
I mean, yeah.
That's one of the problems. It's an inherent problem with having this go back and forth.
Yeah, it's just, listen, I think Duke's going to be a professional. He's going to show up for work. He knows that that's the way he's going to get paid now, and that's the way he's going to get paid in the future.
Right, whether it's here or somewhere else.
It does not behoove him at all to sit on the sidelines on a contract that is current.
And favorable, by the way, to him.
Yeah, but most importantly, I mean, he's a running back with a limited shelf life just based on position. If he wants to extend his NFL career and get paid more at another location,
he needs one more.
He needs to play well in 2019 for the Cleveland Browns,
Correct.
who, by the way, are not going to give him away.
No, nor should they.
Exactly.
Nor should they. And
even if Rosenhaus is the agent, I still think Dorsey says to Rosenhaus, look, unless you can bring me in 2 Pro Bowlers for Duke or a first-round pick for Duke, then okay.
Well, he also may get a promise. He may get a promise.
We're not moving him.
He may get a promise from Rosenhaus to deliver somebody else somewhere down the road, another client of his. Maybe not directly related to Duke Johnson.
You never know how that networking works,
Yeah.
but if I'm the Browns, I sit on Johnson, especially knowing that not only is Hunt unavailable until at least week 9 or game 9,
and there's no guarantee.
but you don't even know about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. I think it was you who said it. In fact, I don't know. If it wasn't you, I don't know who it was. But did you say Drew Stanton it's a good thing Drew Stanton is here?
I did not.
You did not. Somebody, I wonder who said that.
I'm okay with Drew Stanton, but I think if you want to, worst case scenario, Mayfield's out, do you think you can go places with Drew Stanton?
Well, you can't go places with your second string quarterback if your quarterback misses more than a game. If Baker Mayfield would miss more than a game, you just may as well just wrap up the season, no matter who your backup is. And I say that about almost every NFL team.
Well, but I look at I say some backups are different than others, i.e. Ryan Fitzpatrick or even Blake Bortles. If they were to come in, one of those guys was to come in to replace Mayfield, I'm more comfortable with them potentially going farther with this team or taking this team farther than I would with a Drew Stanton.
Gotcha. Catch the excitement of live harness racing at Northfield Park. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as well as Saturday. Post time 6 p.m. And, of course, the door opens early at about noon for simulcast action all over the world. The weekly Sunday contest is there, the handicapping seminars. Top prize $500 in cash each week. Free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park, where the Bud Light patio parties continue through September. And you can stop by the outdoor patios every Friday from 6 to 9 and enjoy the beer specials, outdoor grilling, live racing, and a chance to win some great prizes. Summit County Fair this Friday. That's tomorrow, July 26th. Live racing, post time 6 p.m. Bud Light patio party is the place to be. We'll come back one more time. We'll check out some How Come Quickies and more. Dennis-Manoloff with us. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement.
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
And we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of July and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at dennis-manoloff.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Let's take a look at this date in Les history, July 25th, 1968. Nearly like Pete Rose hitting in 38 straight games, Cleveland Sandlot superstar, second baseman Les-Levine makes an error in 38 straight infield warm-ups before games. That record was tough to achieve, I can tell you that. This being the last live show of the week, we check out a review of this week in Les-Levine history. On Monday, Les finds out that he's being investigated for using performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs. He claims that what appeared to be colored pills were actually M&Ms, which to his knowledge were legal at the time.
Greenies.
Greenies. Then we go to 1957. Les found some baseball cards in his attic, put them in the spokes of his bicycle so he could trade cards with his buddies. He had some duplicates, so he just gave those away. He didn't have room for those 2 extra Mickey Mantle rookie cards. Smart monetary move by Les-Levine on that one. 1970, upset by lack of playing time in the Lakewood A-League, Les makes a demand of his coach, play me or bench me. Ever hear that demand made by a major league player?
Yes.
Let's check out time for a How Come Quickie. How come the United States Treasury says it costs more than a penny to make a penny? Are you aware of that?
Yes, I was, and it's a solid How Come Quickie.
I think it's still true to this very day. All right, let's check some emails that were sent to us, including some How Come Quickies.
You got it.
It's an uneven batch here, D-Man.
Now, I understand Bud does the grades.
Well, like for here, yesterday he gave an 8.5 to somebody. There was a 9.3 yesterday, too. All right, this from Raymond Pierce. I don't know what a diesel fitter is. Anybody know what a diesel fitter is?
I do not.
How come a diesel fitter goes to a department store and finds a dress for his wife and says, diesel fitter? 7.0. 7.0. Doug Edwards. How come tugboats push their barges? I assume he means that instead of tugging them, right? How come they call it after dark when it's really after light? Oh, my God. Oh, we've never had... That's the worst one ever?
just terrible. I'm sorry.
All right, now here, this
Nothing
one,
personal,
when you
just
have
terrible.
to think too much, it takes away points. You get disqualified. Toledo Mike says, how come I tell my cold friends to stand in a corner where it's usually 90 degrees? I assume he's talking about geometry with that, right? Stand in the corner, it's a 90-degree angle. Would you assume that's what it... Way too much thinking. They're called quickies.
I still like it, though.
John Patrick, who has lowered himself to just give one per time.
That was a 7.
How come love is blind but marriage is a real eye-opener? 8.0. See, we have degree of difficulty. You have to... I think some of our regular emailers need to take into consideration who the grader will be. Like you may grade harder than Bud.
How are Bud's grades in general?
Well,
is he
when he likes
easy?
him, he likes him. I can tell you that. And he has one rule. He doesn't like puns.
What? Oh no! Then he must not like our man Chuck Murr, the prince of puns.
People blame me for using puns a lot. Nowhere near the amount that Chuck Murr does.
Love
All right,
Murr, though.
what do you have on your mind here? We got about 2 minutes to vamp here.
Well,
Oh, wait,
Indians-
hold on. Before we do that, give us a lineup of when you're on WTAM in the next week or so.
This upcoming Monday, 7 to 11 p.m. Indians are off. Can't wait. As anytime I get a 4-hour show or 3-hour show, whatever hour show, it's exciting. And then Friday is the Trevisano show. I fill in for Mike Trevisano.
You have the Mike Trevisano chair for 3 hours?
Yes. Don't remind me. I've been
Are you nervous?
since the schedule came out a couple of weeks ago.
The #1 man in the history of radio, and you're going to fill in for him. You should be honored that they think that highly
I
of you.
am honored, but I'm also nervous. So what I'll do is Wednesday, I'll go in on my
Don't give
own.
away, whoa, don't give away trade secrets.
Oh, okay.
People
All right.
want to think that you really know what you're doing and you don't need help.
Well, I've got a lot of studying to do, let's put it that
Okay.
way, because there's a rhythm to that show, and it's traffic and weather together on the 10, so you have to be moving constantly and know how to move it.
And
But-
hit your mark, as they say.
Yeah, and that's something you do with your eyes closed. It's something that I still struggle with, because I'm relatively new in the business. But yeah, so 2 big shows for me next week.
Excellent. Well, you wouldn't
And
keep
of course,
getting
this show on Thursday.
Yeah, you wouldn't keep getting those if you weren't doing a good job. So keep that in mind.
I appreciate that very much.
All
coming
right.
from
So
you.
now you started to talk about the tribe here.
I can't wait. Every series is important. It's down to 2 entering tonight. I don't think the Indians can afford anything less than a split of the 4, and I'm saying that generously.
Split?
I mean, you've got to get 3 out of 4, but it wouldn't be disastrous if they split, because I don't think that Minnesota sweeps Chicago. So even if Minnesota wins 3 out of 4 and Cleveland goes 2-2, they only lose
a
1
game.
game. It's 3. But again, that's a pessimistic view. You want to take 3 out of 4. Force the Twins
I don't even want to
take.
worry about the wild card until it gets down to the last week, 10 days.
No, I've shifted it. I've shifted now to just saying, even if whenever the Twins are facing a wild card opponent, I want to see the wild card opponent beat the Twins. A few weeks ago, it was
the other way around.
I need the wild card team to lose.
All right, that'll do it for us. Dave Bacon will have his show tomorrow night from 6 until 7. I'll see you on Monday. Of all the shows, thanks to Dennis-manoloff, of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.